Hello and welcome to today's YouTube video. Today I'm going over 5 more opening traps that I know. I just have these locked in my memory right free for no reason. But yeah, they're all kind of cool traps I've used, and I've also faced a few of these. One of them is kind of like obscure, but you can just ignore that one if you feel that way as well. But for my first one, this is actual theory, and like I had to learn this to play the Sicilian, because this line actually has come up a couple times. It's not that common, since in the accelerated dragon people don't often take on c6, but I've had it happen even over the board. This happens, so you just take back, and they play this aggressive move, queen d4, trying to attack the rook and stopping your fianchetto. But now you just play knight f6. They push the pawn to try and displace this knight, but you just play it towards the center. And if they try and push again, reopening the rook and also threatening these pawns, and you just go back. The most logical move is to take the f pawn, king takes, and after bishop check, you simply play d5, and the bishop drops back, and now you hit him with the trap e5. Now the reason this is a trap is because after queen takes e5, you have bishop to b4 check, and after anything blocks, you have rook to e8, pinning the queen to the king. Now nothing can get in front of the queen here, so the queen is simply just lost. And yeah, that's a cool trap to know in the Sicilian accelerated dragon. This trap has come up like a couple times, as I said, for me, but usually people don't take the pawn, but then you just have a massive space advantage, and you're bringing your rook over, and your king is actually kind of safe in this line, which is a bit crazy. Yeah, on to the next trap. This is the obscure one, so maybe if you want to skip this one, it's fine. I don't really mind that much, since this one is pretty uncommon, in my opinion. And in this one, it's against the Italian, and you're going to play the Blackburn Shilling Gambit. Now, this is a pretty dubious line, so I don't recommend it in the first place, but it's just a funny trap to know. So after knight takes e5, grabbing the pawn, you actually already have an advantage with queen to g5. Now, the reason this is a strong move is because if black gets greedy with knight takes f7, hitting the queen and the rook, you have queen takes g2, and knight takes here is pretty bad, because then you just claim a rook and it's basically mate. But yeah, they defend their rook with rook to f1, and now you reclaim the pawn in the center with queen takes e4, and yeah, this is forced checkmate essentially, because they either block with the queen and lose a queen for a knight and like lose everything on the board, or they block with the bishop, the more logical move, and they get smothered mated on move 7, which is kind of funny if you think about it. But yeah, I like the smothered mates. Smothered mates are kind of funny. I've always enjoyed them. Yeah, on to the next one. This actually happened to me on stream a couple days ago, or I guess I should say a few days ago. But yeah, that shows you that this isn't an uncommon trap. This isn't obscure. This is actually a very normal thing to happen. And I think it's even more common at lower levels, since this gets blundered more often. d4, d5, and guess what? We play the Jobaba, and they blunder with knight to c6. And this is a very common blunder. I've seen this a lot watching my brother, who is around 1100 now, I believe. But yeah, knight b5 is already much better for white, and the opponent has to respond to save the rook with e5. Now, I prefer bishop takes e5 nowadays, and there's a very concrete reason for that, because after knight takes e5, pawn takes e5, essentially anywhere that this knight goes, which the most common that I've seen is knight to e4, you actually have queen takes d5. You're like, the heck, dude, this isn't a trap, you just lost a queen. But after queen takes d5, now you may see it, it's more obvious in this position, you have knight takes c7, and yeah, king can go anywhere, and you reclaim the queen on d5. And guess what? You're up 3 pawns. You may not be up a rook, but some say an exchange may be worse than 3 pawns, because you're up 3 points of material for free, rather than a rook for a knight, which is only +2. And also your position is just much better. You can castle, not immediately. Don't blunder this fork, please. So maybe play f3 first, that kind of thing. Yeah, that's actually a pretty common trick, and a trick that you need to know if you're playing the Jobava London. And for the next trap is actually a London trap, not a Jobava London, although you can transpose, I guess. But the trap, I dub it as the Rosen trap in London, since I think Rosen popularized this idea with h5. And essentially you have to play knight f3 first, but the most common move to play the London system nowadays is e3. And this is already actually losing for white. And I got caught with this trap a couple of years ago over the board. I was not a very good player back then. But yeah, the move here is e5. And I don't remember which piece I took with, but it doesn't actually matter since your bishop is trapped no matter what. And yeah, basically you play f6, you try and go back, and yeah, your bishop is trapped no matter where it goes. It has no safe square. So yeah, your bishop's actually just trapped. I got caught with this a couple years ago over the board, and I went on to win that game. So yeah, you don't gotta fear these players, that's all I'm saying. Yeah, it is a trap. It is a legit trap that traps a bishop like in the opening, but it does kind of just completely destroy your king side, and you don't actually have to be that worried even if you do fall for this trap, because you can still like win pretty easily. I mean, it's not very practical to play this line because you're undeveloped, like your pieces are all undeveloped. Your king side is basically like going to get shattered. And yeah, don't fear this trap actually. Just a trap to know about. Maybe if you want to stop it, you just play knight f3 before e3 there. And this one is against the Crowdcon. For all the Crowdcon players, watch out for this. This actually is played by like a lot of top players nowadays. So you might see it more in lower levels who are like following higher level players. So yeah, main line of the Crowdcon, and black plays knight d7, which is intending knight to f6. I forget what this is called. It might be called the Karpov variation of the Crowdcon, but there's this very tricky move, and it's slightly counterintuitive, queen to e2. But a lot of top players have been playing it recently. I don't know if it's actually like recently, but at least last year, it was very popular to play this. And the reason is because you're essentially threatening checkmate on move like 6. Like also, it's not just a bad line in general. It's not just like a gimmicky line. It's a legitimately good line, and it's aggressive. But essentially, one of the most basic ideas of this opening is if you play knight f6, it's checkmate. And this goes back to me liking smothered mates, because it's kind of funny that you're delivering smothered checkmate on move 6. Like, I mean, come on, this is awesome. You're pinning this pawn, can't recapture. Every other piece is just stopping the king from escaping. So then the king is in check, it has nowhere to go. I think I can recapture. It's checkmate, which is kind of funny. But yeah, that's 5 traps for you. Some of those are more common than others. Obviously, I think like the main one that you're not going to see is the Blackburn shilling, which was the second one I showed you. All the other ones are actually fairly common, and you can probably use them and like trick your opponent with them. But yeah, thanks for watching today's video. Don't forget to leave a comment down below, like and subscribe, and as always, I will see you in tomorrow's video.